So to start with, sir, I'd like you to give a brief introduction about yourself and your journey until here at Ramaiah College of Law, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Good afternoon, Manashri. I completed my BA LLB honors from Mahatma Gandhi University in Kerala. Did my graduation in School of Indian Legal Thought, and I completed with second rank. And then I went on to do my masters in National University of Singapore.
Okay.
I specialized in corporate and financial services law. Then I briefly also worked in a couple of law firms there, basically into corporate laws, mergers and acquisitions and corporate governance as such. And then I moved into academics. That was a good 11 years back. And ever since I have been in academics, and presently, yes, I'm holding charge as a principal of Ramaiah College of Law.
Okay, that's great.
So, yes.
So that's great. So that's an amazing journey that you had until now, right? Yeah. So the first question I'd like to ask you is, being the principal of Ramaiah College of Law, what is your philosophy of leadership, and how would you describe your leadership style?
Well, I believe leadership or a leader is only as good as his team is. And therefore, I'm fortunate to have a very good team over here, a very diverse faculty, and a set of very enthusiastic staff as well, administrative staff. And coupled with the support from the management, I think we've been doing reasonably well. And as a leader, so my job, it makes it all that more easier because of the holistic support that I receive from all quarters. So my job, I see myself as only, driving the engine, so to speak. But otherwise, and it's an established institution here. Ramaiah College of Law is now actually celebrating its 25th year. It's a silver jubilee year, and therefore the engine's up and running.
Okay, congratulations on that, sir, for completing 25 years of journey for Ramaiah Law College. The next question would be, being the principal of Ramaiah College of Law, right? How do you strategize about the key programs and plans for the marketing and administration of your school?
Well, two aspects to that. Marketing, as I said, since we are a very established institution, and Ramaiah College of Law is the brand itself takes care of the marketing, so to speak. So we haven't actually spent too much time or resources on marketing, at least till date, because people already know Ramaiah College of Law. The great visionary M.S. Ramaiah founded this college. In fact, I remember during my school days as a law school student, meeting students of Ramaiah College of Law in various moot court competitions. So it was a very established institution. As far as the administrative strategy goes, well, as I said, have a very efficient administrative staff here, and any strategy that we have to do is also wholly supported by the management, a very supportive management. And we all, because this is not something new, we know what it takes in the academics field, what it requires to move into the next step, and we have been constantly evolving ourselves and keeping up to the mark, up to the race, so to speak. And I guess that is why our results also speak for itself.
Okay, that's great, sir. So how does the curriculum of Ramaiah College of Law ensure the best practice of industry?
Yes. As an affiliated college, there are two parts to a curriculum. Therefore, as an affiliated college, we are bound by the syllabus as prescribed by the Karnataka State Law University, which we anyway have to offer to our students. But over in addition to that, we also take care to ensure that our students are up with the industry requirements, and to that extent, we provide add-on courses, certificate courses to our students, and we also get industry leaders to come and speak to our students. And our assignments and classroom discussions actually try and factor in these aspects. So that is how we actually try and build the skill development, because our focus has not only been just to ensure that the students pass the exams and get a degree, which they have of course been doing very well. Our students have been consistently been toppers in the Karnataka State Law University as well over a period of time. But in addition to that, we try, of late, our focus has been therefore to try and instill that skills that the industry requires. So that is where we pitch in with these certificate courses and add-on courses, and get industry people to come and speak to our students. In fact, last week we had 3 lawyers from leading law firms offer a certificate course to our students, a master class on labor laws, the recently amended ones, and prior to that on contracts, drafting and commercial disputes, etc. So that is how we actually try and balance with the university curriculum with these skill development courses.
Okay, that's great, sir. So any insights into how your university could be more welcoming to students of different races or economic backgrounds?
Well, I'm happy to say that the student community in Ramaiah College of Law has always been very diverse. We almost invariably every year we get students from every part or every state in this country and actually beyond. So we also have international students. So to that extent, diversity has been taken care of itself in that sense. Over and above that, we extend any other support that is required on a case-to-case basis that is required. But as I told you, the diversity is taken care of itself every year simply because of our admissions that screen students from across the country.
Okay. So what do you think should be the college's top priority over the next 10 years?
Well, we have now having very sound foundations on the academic part of it, and we all along we have been only an institution that was providing undergrad programs. We have 3 programs, which is basically the BA-LLB, BBA-LLB, and BCom-LLB programs. But we have taken a very conscious decision to now expand our areas of study, and we have already received affiliation for a postgraduate program in business and trade laws, and we also have established this academic year 3 centers. So basically our focus therefore, and as you rightly put up, the next 10 years therefore our focus is on strengthening the research potential of this institution. We have a very functioning IPR cell in our college, which has been in already having tie-ups with various governmental agencies and also facilitating in terms of filings of patents and trademarks, etc. So and to carry out various research projects, on geographical indications. There are 2 projects that Ramaiah College of Law is doing in association with the Visvesvaraya Trade Promotion Center under the government of Karnataka, and so on and so forth. So in the last couple of years, actually, in the last 2 years and moving forth in the next 6 to 7 years, our focus is actually to enrich the research potential of our college, and I think we're doing really well on that.
Yeah, that's amazing, sir. So when you first came to Ramaiah College of Law, right, what was your vision for the college? Has it evolved over time, and how far along in implementing that vision are you?
Well, it hasn't been too long since I joined Ramaiah as well, because it has been only a couple of years, and I joined here as a member of the faculty, and then sooner I took over as the charge of the principal of the college as well. And as I said, the focus has always been there for the college, and my faculty, and I must thank my preceding predecessors as well, who occupied this chair. They had pretty much set in motion what we were up to, where we wanted to reach, and my job is simply to help reach there, perhaps, and ideally much quicker. So that has been our goal. But yes, what is our vision? As I said, to right at the beginning, when our founder established this institution itself, he had laid forth as to how to create an institution of excellence. And by excellence, what do we mean? Therefore, we have very clear-cut goals and objectives. And one of the measures is to identify what impact does our students have once they graduate from here. So that is something that we are very keen, and we have to do an analysis on, right? Our alumni, which is pretty strong, they have been doing really well, and we have been trying to work more closely with our alumni there and build our activities, and to ensure that both as our alumni, our product, and as an institution, to have a significant impact in the society and the community that we live in. And as part of that, in fact, we started last year an outreach program where our students actually are divided into groups, and they go about picking up social issues in the community. For example, one of the groups did a project on hospital waste management in Bangalore, whereas another group went about looking at the public transport system in Bangalore, and to suggest reforms as to what they can see, and best practices in hospitals, etc. And then to provide these recommendations to the policy makers. In that sense, not just our alumni, but as an institution itself, we try and make some impact on the society. So my focus right now, yes, is to therefore try and strengthen these activities that we began. We began these activities in the immediate past. So to strengthen and give some shape to these projects that we have recently embarked upon.
Okay. So what do you see as Ramaiah College of Law's greatest strengths?
Well, to begin with, yes, as I said, my legacy, 25 years of reputation that is there and for all to see our work. And second is my faculty. We have a very diverse set of faculty, which is doing research in very niche areas of law as well. In fact, two of them are doing their research on legal education per se, and not just on any other forms of law. I have faculty who are who've done their graduation from various national law schools and some from abroad. And I have faculty from different parts of the state as well. So and I have even former vice chancellors associated as the former vice chancellor of NUALS. Professor Rose Verghese is associated with us as Director Academics. So we have a very good mixture of youth and experience, and a very energetic faculty, which is again a very big strength. But none of this would have mattered if I didn't have the holistic support of my management. So they have any proposals, because we are the academicians, and when we come up with a proposal, it is also very important that the management sees that in that light and supports us in our initiatives. And I am very glad to say that I have received complete support from them as well. So these are some of our strengths.
That's great, sir. So what are some of the biggest challenges you see, right, both for higher education in general and for Ramaiah College specifically?
Well, at least for higher legal education, I can say some of my specific focus there has been in the last couple of years on that as well, which is to try and bring in more experiential learning. Because there we increasingly find a disconnect between what is taught in the classrooms and what is actually required in the industry. So a couple of years back, we had a discussion with some of our recruiters, people who used to come here for campus placements, and we took a conscious decision to integrate our learning with this experiential learning. Interestingly, two of my faculty members are pursuing their PhD itself on that aspect. of experiential learning, how to integrate experiential learning within the curriculum. So we have accordingly, therefore, tried to modify our teaching itself, the pedagogy itself, to factor in those aspects, to try and bring in real life problems, and to have simulation exercises in classes, and to find solutions to these aspects. Now, to try and do that along with the curriculum that is prescribed by the university sometimes poses certain challenges. Which is why, as I mentioned to you, our outreach programs and everything therefore help us to, overcome those challenges in these fashions. Over and above that, access to legal education, quality legal education itself, that's on a general note, is one of the major challenges that we face. Not every college would have the right infrastructure, because these days, particularly present times, online teaching has become very critical. Similarly, online resource teaching is still all right, but how do my students get access to the resources, which since they're not in campus, access to the library becomes difficult. So leading private institutions, I believe, have to take up that challenge, how to make access to these libraries and everything more affordable and more accessible to all students. That is, I think, going to be a important challenge as well. But I think we are on the right track and to trying to find solutions to most of these challenges.
Okay. So any suggestions you would like to give to the current youth and the aspiring students?
Oh, aspiring students, if I'm assuming you're referring to aspiring law students, and if it is aspiring to law, because when people opt for a career in law, or when they opt for a law course, I often tell them the same thing, that this is a 5-year course, integrated law degree program, and to keep you motivated across 5 years, it is your academic performance in your 10th and 12th alone does not matter. What matters is is your aptitude. So and your passion. Unless you have an aptitude, in fact, we've tried to do that here as well in our admissions process, where we try to look at not just the academic performance of the students, but we try and look at what aptitude he has towards learning law. Has he done anything with respect to something of which is of civic importance, or has he done something which in a community that is relevant to his community? Has he been involved in any public service activities, community service activities before? They actually play a role in our screening process as well, because we strongly believe that it is that passion and commitment which will actually sustain him to do well over a period of 5 years. Otherwise, it becomes just like another course. And here at Ramaiah, we strongly believe that it is not just about the marks. Of course, we've been doing well, we've been scoring the marks, but that will not guarantee you necessarily a successful career in law. So we've tried to give our focus on that as well. So to the newcomers, to aspiring law students, I would say make your choice keeping these things in mind. First thing is you answer yourself whether this is what is there for you, where you have it in you to actually do 5 years of law, and are you really interested in law as a career? Only then you make your choice. Hard work goes across for any course, not just for law. So the willingness to put in that hard work. Competition now is no longer restricted to your classrooms. It is global. There were times when I apply for internships to my firm that is in my city or in my state where I used to stay. But when I was working in Singapore, in the law firms that I was, we would receive almost on any given day 10 resumes from India applying for internships. So it really doesn't matter where you're doing a law, but you're all applying and competing for the same position these days. So the competition is global, and you need to have that passion and industry and to put in that 100% effort. So that would be my message to the aspiring students.
Right. So, what are some plans that you're currently or will be designing for Ramaiah College's international affairs and/or students?
One of the difficulties that we face, and certainly you referred to challenges earlier, is because we are an affiliated college, we have very little maneuvering capacity in terms of the course curriculum to have exchange programs, etc., because the university requires the students to do these. So student exchange programs, semester exchange programs at least, become very difficult. But what we did is, at least in the last academic year, we had at least 3 or 4 representatives from various American and UK universities to come and speak to our students as a first measure, which therefore exposes them to how teaching and learning happens in universities abroad. And subsequently, as a follow-up measure, we have been in discussion with them as to enter into MOUs with them and have some sort of short-term exchange programs, like a 2-week course or a 3-week course, where our students can actually go there and get an exposure to how classes happen over there. And also in terms of securing admissions for postgraduate programs. We already have, of course, we regularly have some students getting through master's program in the US and UK universities abroad. This year, however, the COVID has thrown the spanners into their work, but this is only a temporary challenge, so we will overcome that. But yes, we have been in touch with various universities. The representatives do come here and engage sessions, and if everything goes well, sooner than later we would have our students actually going there on short-term programs as well.
Great. So the last question for the day, sir. Yes. So how do you tend to establish a healthy relation and environment in your institute?
Well, maintaining a healthy environment is a lesser challenge for me per se as a leader, because as I again said, we are an established institution, so we already have a culture that is already firmly established, and what we only now focus on is to make our feedback mechanism quite stronger. So we tend to have a lot more open houses, open sessions, where we dispense with the hierarchy, and so that people can express themselves freely. And we have a mentorship system here where teachers take on small identified groups of students and mentor them. And we also involve our alumni members, particularly members who are close by and working in the bar here, to come and speak to our students. Many of the activities are run actually by our alumni. Actually, our moot court, for example, is usually almost entirely taken up by the alumni who come here and spend those 3 days here running the show. That also, the part of the reason why we request the alumni to come here and run the show is because those 3 days our students then interact on throughout with our alumni. So that builds the relationship between our student community and the alumni. They help in our placements of our students, and interpersonal relationship within the organization. We also ensure that this is not all work, but there is sufficient fun as well. So all activities like the Kannada Rajyotsava, or for that matter Onam or Diwali, all these are celebrated usually this time, although nothing applies to whatever I said in campus, but usually we ensure that these are celebrated. All of us come together to celebrate them, so that makes maintain a very harmonious environment in the campus.
Right, sir. So it was really nice speaking to you, and I'm sure this interview with you will help the aspiring law students, as you said, choose the right college, and they'll be able to find the information available for them, right?
Yeah.
So I hope to keep in touch with you too. So, and thank you once again for doing this.
Thank you,
It's such
Manashri. It has been
notice.
a pleasure. Yeah, it has been a pleasure.